So hey guys, welcome back to Ponderings from Palm Coast. I'm Mark Webb, and I'd like to take a few minutes to acknowledge today is Veterans Day. It means so much to so many different people, or probably nothing to some. I'm a veteran. I use as many of the benefits as possible, and I'm still learning about benefits that you, the veteran, may have, and you may not even be aware of it. I like to use the word veteran advocate, and there's some phenomenal groups here in Palm Coast. You've got DAV, you've got Flagler County Veterans Support Group at the county building. I spend quite a bit of time talking to veterans who don't see themselves as a veteran of need. I was in for 4 years, 20 years ago, and I'm fine. Until you're not. I was pondering this the other day. I was in Washington, D.C. a couple years ago, and I was over at Arlington Cemetery, and next to Arlington Cemetery is the Iwo Jima Monument. And I made a point to go over there because I had an uncle who survived Iwo Jima. He was a Marine, never talked about it. And I was standing there looking at the monument, and I had my military hat on, and this young girl, probably 8 or 9, came up, not prompted by anything, and thanked me for my service. And I don't know how to respond to that, because after Vietnam, there was no draft. You volunteered for service. There was no direction. Now, there are quite a few vets that are still out there that know what those draft cards were like. But I kind of took my breath away, and I thanked her, and I could see that there was a young couple over on the side that were helping her to acknowledge that service. But I've never felt like I was special. I never felt that I was in harm's way. I was just another military guy doing my job 9 to 5. Yes, I did a lot of overseas tours. I was away from my family. I missed a lot of important first steps and birthdays and even passing of relatives. But it was the service that I really wanted to embrace, because when you volunteer for something, and you guys know that I'm big about getting you off the couch to be of service. Whether you're volunteering at a hospital, whether you're a crossing guard, whether you are participating in the great things that happen in this country, I thank you for your service. But today is Veterans Day. We need to acknowledge the veterans that are around us. Call your relative out of nowhere and thank him for his service. Let them know that politics is not involved. I served under 4 different presidents. I couldn't even tell you what their politics were. It doesn't matter. We're serving the country. We're doing what we are, and that's what makes a veteran so special. And if you're a veteran, you know what I'm talking about. If you serve this country, even for the shortest period of time, I want to thank you for your service. So with that, I want you guys to get out there today, enjoy all the freebies that are out there. Go get a free lunch somewhere or a hot coffee and let people know. And don't forget to remind people that you're a veteran. There are benefits all the time. stay active, go down to the VA, walk in the door and ask them to take a look at your situation. You're probably not even using the benefits that you've earned. Okay? Happy Veterans Day, everybody. I'm proud of everything you guys are doing. Now, I want to introduce you to Eric Yonce. He is a Democrat running for 6th District. Has some amazing things to share. So I'll see you on the other side. And today, I have Eric Yonce that has volunteered to come in and sit and chat. Eric's running for the 6th District, so he would be our representative in Washington, D.C. That's going to be a good conversation. And so, Eric, welcome. Thank you so much for coming. I always like to start off with a little intro of who is Eric Yonce? How'd you get to Florida? Been here your whole life? What?
Yes, I was born in Hollywood, Florida, and my parents shortly after I was born, moved up to Ocala. So that's where I was raised, north of Ocala, in a little town called Citra. So that's part of our Congressional district as well. And I spent all the way through till I was about 20 in Ocala, and then went on to a career in retail. So I worked for big box retail, for Target for many years, Toys R Us, and Dick's Sporting Goods. So that brought me around the center part of the state for the most part. So years in Ocala, Lakeland, Apopka area, and then Daytona, Ormond Beach, and that's where I've been at today. So I kind of did this kind of full loop.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we could touch in a little bit on the big box stores and all the economics of things that are going on. But so I got to know, and I asked this to all the candidates. What made you decide? What was it that pushed your button? What was it that you finally said, you know, I need to get off this couch and be active, and you have something to say? So
Yeah.
What was that trigger?
You know, it's always been a drive of mine to give back to public, right? To be involved in the public sphere, from like my father being a career law enforcement officer. So I tried to go into law enforcement academy. I did not pass. So that's where my career took me into retail. But just even many years within that and seeing different aspects, and you're working with everybody, whether they're on your team or customer-wise, I just knew there's something deep inside me that wanted to be a part of giving back to the public, and I wasn't getting that fulfillment in retail. So, you know, just kind of determining what that looked like, whether it was like a county position, city, whatever it may be. And then just this past special election, I saw what Josh Wheel was able to do, and make up some ground, and being a compelling candidate, and that gave me a lot of hope. And then also seeing who won the ticket, and who is our current congressperson, and just how disgusted I can be of knowing that he represents myself, my family, my community, and I don't think it's a fair representation. So that really drove me, and then just seeing problems, especially within the state. So Florida, I grew up here. I've lived here my entire life, and development has always been a part of Florida. It will always be a part of Florida, but the way it's going right now, it's wrong, and it's destroying our state. And we had some provisions earlier this year where the state was trying to do some land swaps with, there's the land swap up in Guana, and the state park deal that they were trying to put hotels, pickleball courts, and whatever in the different state parks. That got me really involved with, like, I could see activism at its finest, like people standing up, making their voices heard, and those things did not go through, which were awesome. And then the other piece to it all was that really pushed me into this is just seeing what was happening overseas in Israel and Gaza, and seeing how our government and our tax money is funding things that I don't agree with and that are in violation of international law. And we needed people to stand up for that. And that's what I'm doing. And this is my way that I can try to stand up for it.
So I know you and I have talked a few times, and one of the things that Josh even shared with me when I was working with him, the local voters, the local District 6 voters struggle to understand what the role of a representative in this district is going to do or be able to do for us in Washington, D.C., so far away. Have you run into that conversation, and how would you share with me what you see your hope by serving at that level?
I think just people get confused. They see, hey, you're running for office, and let me tell you about this situation that's happening down in our neighborhood. And they don't understand the different levels of government, and to be fair, like I probably did it over a certain period of time until I really started to look into it. At the base of it all, a person in the House of Representative is the closest thing that us as citizens have in government. That is the people's voice within our government for the most part. And we have lost that. We are losing that. And I feel like the more I can explain to people and just basic, like I have a pocket constitution that I carry with me. And it's like, here's where it outlines what this job is. And it's simple, yes, complex, but are we doing that? Is your current representative doing that? And I think just posing that question gets them to start thinking about what then that person should be doing for them.
Right.
And then that then can lead to further conversation. But it's just that simple.
Yeah, if only it was that
Yeah,
simple.
true.
Yeah, if only. But, the voice that we need in our district to represent us in Washington in the House of Representatives of 400 and some odd other people, 35 or whatever it was, it's easy to get lost in that crowd when you're up there fighting for the 6th District of Florida. And I was explaining to some people about, for example, here in Palm Coast, we need $400 to $600 million to fix our water supply, which is above and beyond anything a small town like ours was designed to ever do. And the purpose, from my understanding, the purpose of the federal government was to dispense funds, House of Representatives holds the purse, to assist FEMA. We get a hurricane. Oh, we were so lucky this year so far, huh? So far. But to provide and give funds to assist small towns in our area, 6th District. There's been crickets. The federal government, our own governor, returned over $800 million back to the federal government at the beginning of the year from Obama's bill that he passed for the infrastructure. Florida was given billions of dollars for infrastructure, and he returned it. So that would be one aspect of a voice that you are going to represent the guy next door who's getting ready to see their water bills triple with our federal government that is spending money, like you said, in places prior to getting here. But that goes to that view of the unfortunate labeling of a person's views. I hate it. It's terrible. We're all of it. I'm a conservative. I have a budget. It's called a wife. I can't go to Home Depot and buy $400 worth of tools. I wouldn't have a wife. But that's economic conservatism. But I'm also progressive because I'm retired military and I have a pension. Thank you very much. My checks keep coming in the mail. for my service. So I hate the labeling part.
Yeah.
And I don't think it serves the average person very well, and half of them can never define it either.
No.
How would you describe your overall views? Or would you even bother to?
I have struggled with that because I've been asked that question, and it is a struggle because I hate the labeling of everything. I thought about it this morning that we live so much in like a brand name environment. Everything has to be a brand name, and now your thought has to be put under a branding almost, and that's it. I've been trying to speak about like a Medicare for All program of outlining that to people, right? And I get labeled a communist, and I'm like, do you even know what communist means?
They don't.
And it's as simple as like just trying to allow, like, here's what a communist means. That means government controls every aspect of your life. Every business they are in full control of.
There wouldn't be many elections going on.
There would be
and,
nothing going on. It's is this a communist country? Or is New York a communist city now?
Right.
No. And it's outlining that, and I was joking around about it today as well, of like, you know, the old books of like cooking for dummies or anything, and not to say that anyone's dumb, but it's like we have to simplify what the messages are so that way it gets past where like this brand rhetoric is coming from. We're not even explaining what truly is capitalism, socialism, communism. Like, we're just labeling something because we don't agree with it and we're scared of it.
Yeah, it's. I think the challenge in the conversations I have with people that they look at, oh, well, you're a fairly young guy, you must be progressive, or I'm a old white man, I must be a MAGA Republican, before they ever get a chance to talk to us or understand what's happening. And when I come across on a more left-leaning progressive view, they're shocked. And that's good to be shocked. It's good to be questioned because we're more than one word.
Yes.
We're more than one view. And we have to be.
We have to be. And I think that's okay. Like, I grew up very conservative, like a very conservative family. My friend's very conservative as well, being like in Ocala. That's the basis over there for the most part, at least when I was growing up. And, you know, I feel like the values have changed over time to where not everybody fits within the different molds anymore. You know, I may have a different thought process on like control of government, but I also see social benefits of like the different programs we have. And like, really, once you break that down, we have a lot of social programs within our country, and it's the only way our country works, to be honest with you.
Absolutely. And that is the purpose.
Yeah.
I mean, people seem to forget the real purpose of the government per our Constitution, and I carry my pocket. You know, we the people, the whole purpose of our federal government is to dispense funds of those that need it. And I was having this conversation Friday evening after First Friday, and I was talking to a passionate young couple, and they were confused about a shirt I was wearing. And very politely, they did not really understand a lot that was going on. But I asked them, I said, if you took a young woman or man, had no health care, chose not to get any health care, they're working 2 jobs, they have no health care, and they're in an automobile accident, or they all of a sudden get deathly sick, they're going to go to our hospital. It's required. And they're going to be seen and treated. And the cost of that event is like 10 times what it would be if we had preventative care and provided them to go to the hospital and be seen. They didn't get it. They didn't understand. They saw that as us helping. But the cost of actions, you know, we were coming out of the farmers and understanding the long-term health of the farming industry and knowing that they barely make any money on the product that they sell, and yet it's 10 times the cost once it gets to Publix.
Well, that's even
That's wrong.
that's even if the local farmer and produce producer, I guess you could say, is even taking it to Publix. Like most of the time, that's not local.
No, exactly.
It's not.
It's
coming from overseas or whatever it may be, and it's cutting the price or the profit that somebody local could be making. And that's the tough thing as well, especially with the beef prices that are going on right now. Like they have no control over that.
No,
That's
no, and
important.
I always laugh when I hear the administration talking about I'm effectively changing the price of fuel. When if you live in Palm Coast and you're out and about every couple of days, all 8 gas stations go up and down at the same
It's like
time.
every 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's like 318, 280, 318. And I swear they're on the phone. Hey, Bob. Yeah, over here at Texo. Hey, did you call the Chevron? Yeah, we're all going to go raise it, and it goes up.
Yep.
And then they all
all a
agree
game.
for it to go down. It has nothing to do. It's capitalism,
It's all a game.
which is not a bad thing. So, Eric, you've been in the race for a little while.
Yeah, about 2.5 months now.
2.5 months. You've tried to get around through the 4.5 counties,
6.
6 counties. What kind of feedback and what kind of comments are you getting from the other, the voters? What have you been hearing that?
I mean, the biggest thing that's impacting all of us is cost of living. So whether that's we all fill groceries, we just talked about gas, but also like rising housing costs and insurance, and people are wanting help with that, and we're seeing that with the healthcare piece and what insurance actually looks like. A lot of questions on whether I'd support like a Medicare for all, and it's great to see that more and more people are talking about something like that and not shying away from asking about Medicare for all, because it's probably where we're going to need to go. And we're going to have people that understand what that looks like and push for that as we get into office and get rolling. The other big thing, and I alluded to this earlier, is the impact of development within the communities and what that's been looking like for people, whether it's, hey, I had to add like flood insurance, and because we just had a random flood, or you saw in Mount Dora where an afternoon rainstorm just flooded out streets and roads, and that was as a direct result from new construction that was in the area. Those are impacting people the most, and it's helping them understand what, as a federal government, you can, or within the House of Representatives, you could do, and that goes back to what we were talking about earlier. A lot of people don't understand what somebody in that position can do for them. And when it comes to like land and development, there's guidelines and controls that we could put in place, but the state controls a lot of that, and it's having people being clear about what that is.
But that's kind of going back to that point that I made earlier about not knowing where the power of the decision to help you locally
Correct.
resides. And as a representative in Washington, your efforts would be more broader to a representing Florida, hearing about the conditions in Florida, like sand beach renourishment and those kind of national, or FEMA, right? Those kind of things.
Do we still have FEMA?
We still have
Yeah.
FEMA. We
mean,
keep
they're-
stealing all their money.
They're going money to alligator Alcatraz.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of anywhere
Or I
else.
think, what was they going to send a bunch of it to South America?
Yeah, me too.
But to be able to listen to the constituent and understand what their problems is locally, and to be able to partner with the local representatives, city council, county commissioners, and state representatives, which is something that has been zero for the last several cycles of the representatives we have, going all the way back to Michael Waltz, who we never saw after he was elected and he was doing his business in Washington, but those voices need to be heard. Do you see yourself trying to bridge that?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I feel for so long this district has been more of a stepping point for people getting into the office because they just see this as whether it's kind of a program of them progressing through their political career and this is one stop and they use this district as that and then they go on for something else. And the actual constituents are the ones that have been paying the price of that, to where your needs aren't being taken into account, the concerns you have, and where funding goes. And we're even seeing that evident with some of the things that Randy Fine has funded or pushed for approval for funding, as opposed to where it really should go. You talk about beach renourishment. We saw some of that wash away. And I
Right.
feel like the problem is we're trying to get projects done so fast, which they do need to be, but the proper studies on how to make them lasting, or the proper ways of looking into different things to say, is this the right way of doing it, is being overlooked, just so we could put a stamp on something and say it's done. And I feel like that's going to start hurting us in the long run. As we go
Yeah, coming from the Outer Banks of North Carolina, I can tell you that the beach sand renourishment issues are ongoing. Mother Nature's
through.
never going to
It's never going to stop.
attacking our beaches, and yet we still grow and build and put people on those beaches, and then they turn around and go, my beach is gone and I want the federal government to come in and give me another beach. But that's not, those are all great kind of opportunities to link the value of your voice to the local issues. But another thing has come up, which I'm curious to know about. If and when you get elected and you're in the House of Representatives and the House is now run by the Democrats, there's going to be a huge push for action of those individuals or within the administration, and it happened after the 2016-2018 midterms. The president at the time got impeached, and there were subcommittees everywhere doing studies. Do you find that there's value to that? Have you thought about how you would respond if you, as a representative up in Washington, all of a sudden the Democrat Party decides they're going to try to hold the administration to accountability? Because that's going to hit your plate, probably.
It's going to hit. I have a couple different thoughts on it. One is that's not the focus of where I'm coming from right now. My focus is to show how our communities have not been fully represented properly over the years and what that could actually look like, especially from someone that has grown up in these communities and has worked their entire life around these communities. We could have true representation. Now, back to that piece, it is going to be, accountability must happen. If we see current people in the administration breaking the law right now, we see a president going against the Constitution in many ways, and we have to be able to stand up for that and fight for what our government is. And that will take true backbone within the House of Representatives to start that, because that is one of the powers afforded to the House, is the power of impeachment. And we have to make sure we're utilizing that. I feel the path to that is accountability for the people in the administration right now. And you put the pressure on those groups of people. The president is being very careful with his words and his actions in different ways. And I feel that putting pressure on the administration underneath him, holding them to account for the direct actions that they're doing that he blames on them on a daily basis as well. Instead of taking in accountability, it's, hey, talk to this person, talk to this person. I don't know anything about it. He's doing that for a reason. And it will take a powerful force within the House of Representatives to start holding everyone accountable that should be. And yeah, like, we're going to have to do it.
And I bring this up because, like it or not, you're in a very red district, and you will not have much of a chance without extending an arm,
Correct.
having an open conversation with all voters, Republican, Democrat, liberal, all of us. And I saw a little bit of that with you Friday night, and I kind of mentioned I saw an action that I wanted to applaud you for, and I'm a big proponent of reaching across to another American and acknowledge. So, first Friday, you're getting petitions in Flagler Beach, and you reach out to Aaron Baker, your challenger for the Republican Party. Share with us, what did you guys do? What did y'all talk about?
Well, it was just innocent at first because he had somebody going around asking for a petition. So she walks up to me, gives me her pitch, and I just laugh. I'm like, all right, well, I'll sign it if you sign mine, and if Aaron signs mine. And that's kind of what started it. And she's like, well, what are you running for? And I was like, the exact same position he is. So that's what we're doing here. So we spoke for a little bit, and next thing I know, probably 5-10 minutes later, here comes Aaron walking up with the petition in his hand. And it was just nice. And you know, it's nice to just open the door for conversation for someone on the other side of the aisle right now.
Absolutely.
And I feel we've gotten so divided. And truth be told, like, I have felt it in some of these meetings as well, to where, like, if I'm in a strong, like, Democrat-only meeting and I bring up something about reaching across, I get pushback on it. And, like, we can't be there. Like, I understand where we've gone with the rhetoric and where we've become very divisive. Our own current representative is the number one person that is, like, causing a lot of that divide, and his
Right.
language and how he's coming across, and it's unfortunate. And whether our common goal between him and I is to defeat Randy Fine, but it's also a common goal that we both want great things to happen for our communities. You know, I from what I understand of him, he has come from this community as well. He is down in Lake County, and has been very active within that community. And you know, I see that as a way to say, hey, like, we both probably, and I told him this, like, we both probably agree on a lot of things. And maybe we differ on how we get there, but at the end of the day, we want like growth and development and just a natural form of community for our district.
And that's character. You know, that's what, and it goes to both sides. And I want to take a moment and really magnify that, because you guys know that I'm always challenging you to reach out to your neighbor, no matter what his party is. If we were in the middle of a hurricane and the power was out for days, and you had a freezer or you had a generator, you'd be reaching out to your neighbor. You wouldn't be worrying about whether he's got a political flag in his yard or whatever, because I believe that that's what makes America an American what we are. And we've seen that over the last 250 years. Our ability to rally, to go across the ocean, both oceans, and fight, assist to help a fellow human being in crisis is what makes me proud to be an American. And I served my country, and I was all over this planet doing things for other people. And so we do have to get past that. And clearly there's a huge difference between a conservative Republican and Randy Fine. There's no doubt. I can tell you the Republican Party doesn't care for him as much as we do. But I appreciate the fact that you did that, because as you knock on doors and as you get petitions, you're going to run into conservative Republicans and they want to have a conversation with you. And I welcome and I would look forward to how those are going to be, because as we were talking, when your SNAP benefits stop, it doesn't say Republican or Democrat. When you have a health care emergency and you have to go to the clinic and they turn you away, it's not a political look at you. We're all in the same bucket. And,
We are.
and so another thing, as you spread out and you work toward your primaries, how can people, I would be addressed if I didn't give you the opportunity to go, how can people help you? Volunteer, or what's your time frame? I know you had said you're just kind of one-man band right now until after the first of the year, and then you're going to turn it on? Or?
Yeah, so like I said, I started really picking this up in the middle of August last year, which that's a year out from the actual primary, which is August 18th of 26. And then we have 2.5 months to then go towards the general, right? So never doing this before. I've never been in any political office. I have, like I said, worked in retail my entire life, did a little stint of hiking, a little bit of retail or real estate. So it's been more of like trying to go at my pace and just getting comfortable in what this is and developing messaging and really then seeing how now I have a team growing behind me. So I do have a group of volunteers that are willing to help, and that's what I need right now. I need more people from around the district that are willing to go to events, pass out information, knock on some doors, eventually start doing phone banking. Like, we're going to start needing that, because I do not want to, there's no way of taking like corporate money like this. And I feel like that's one of the largest issues within our political system right now, is the corporate financing aspect of things. So my way around that, and where my thought process is we're never going to get around that unless we start getting people in office that aren't funded, right? So that's where I need the help. This costs money, so we need donations. We need volunteers to show up. We need just getting the word out, and whether that's sharing a post on social media, helping try to find venues that can hold town halls in, because that's one thing I'm really looking forward to do come January, February, March, is to just start holding open town halls. That way anybody within the community can come, and we could just start sharing what needs to happen within each place, because we're different, whether you're on the coast or in Hawthorne, or not Hawthorne, in Palaca or Interlochen. Like, everybody is different and needs different things, and it's good we just start getting those out, because our current representative is not.
Right. And also, there are going to be some huge milestone issues that happen in the next 3 to 4 months. We're all aware of the SNAP issue, the conversation about the government closing, or maybe they're getting close to resolve that, but also the impact of how people are going to respond in the different areas of District 6 are going to be much louder, and more people, I think, are going to be touched. So have you put together, do you have a Facebook page?
Yeah.
Do you have an email? Can people donate to Act Blue?
All of it.
All of it?
I have all of it. So email or website is yonceforcongress.com. So
Yonce for House of Congress. Yep.
Yonce for House, but on the back it has the website. But yonceforcongress.com, and that has basically all the links you need. So there's links to donate, there's links to connect to social media, which I have Facebook, Instagram, I'm on X every now and then just to have some fun with Randy Fine and see where his messaging truly goes. But yeah, so that is the easiest way to get in contact with me. I have sign-up forms there as well to be able to volunteer. And yeah, and then that's what I would ask that you share. So share anything from my social media or website. That way we get more of the word out.
Yeah. A candidate nowadays needs donations, needs
tough.
volunteers, needs help to be noticed. And it's a full field this time around. Last time I counted, there were like 10 people
There's
between the three different parties and that are trying to run for this. But that's a good thing
Yeah.
because it shows that there are opportunities and issues and ideas, concerns that people have that want to get in there to try to do things
I
better.
think it just also helps create excitement. Like for so long, this district has ran unopposed.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
you know, the incumbent or the incumbent to be within the party would just run and get elected, and that's what's made this such a stepping stone place for somebody just trying to work their way up in political office. To where now there can be excitement. There can be a way to get the base going, whether it's a Democrat or like disenfranchised Republicans. Like there can be somebody else that you can look towards to vote for that will help get what you need done. And that's what I'm hoping to start spreading the word on. And I think having multiple candidates allows that excitement to start coming out.
Yeah, I think with all the things in the news and everything, people are a little bit more informed or aware, or they're getting touched. You know,
More and more people are being affected. For sure.
It's in. You know, it's kind of. It reminds me of back in the day when my mother would chase me down with a spoonful of cod liver oil. The worst tasting, nastiest thing, and she was convinced it would make me healthier. It'd make me better. Who knows what got in her head. But the point of it was, we have now been fed cod liver oil by an administration, and here in Palm Coast, a lot of the people here are retirees. They're not getting touched at this point yet. But their neighbors are, or their family is.
You see it right now with the food banks. There was just a drive in Volusia County over the weekend that the sheriffs and police department put on at the Speedway, and they had a line of cars on Speedway Boulevard that stretched from the entrance to the Speedway back to the interstate. If you understand that part of town.
Yeah, I do.
And that's just for people getting in to go through the food bank.
Well, right here on US 1, we have a food bank. I think it's on Saturdays, and it's hundreds of cars trying to get help.
I mean, it's unfortunate where we are at right now, and that's where I hope that we can all just see this and we're in the same place and stop the political back and forth of you're this, you think this, and this, and this, and start just seeing things for what they are and start looking for issues or at issues for what they are, whether it is healthcare or like why your cost of living is going up. And we've been lied to for so long, and I understand that there's a certain point of like governance to that for some reason. Like people tell me like, why are you surprised that the government lies to you? I'm like, it's not being surprised. It's just shouldn't work that way. To where we just need transparency and we need a government that's going to actually work for the people that has elected them.
Right.
And I think now with the current administration, we're seeing some stuff just out in the open, and I think that's one thing I applaud. There won't be much, but I applaud Donald Trump for is he's putting corruption out on full display, because it is what we've allowed for so long. For some of our other current or elected leaders have done it secretly. So he's doing it in full display because you know what? He can. And no one has stopped the previous people from doing it, and why should they stop him? And that's what he feels.
Well, and I like your passion, and I agree with your view of the service of the elected official has, both parties are guilty of this, lost sight of what their purpose is, being there to help the public instead of subcommittees going after this individual, that individual, or whatever the issue is. It has no value or benefit to the people of the sixth district. And so we do need to get back to that, and I'm looking forward to that. So, Eric, final thoughts. What are your passion? What do you want people to know about how you're gonna move the needle a little bit, make things better in your own mind?
Yeah. It's the biggest thing is we all want financial well-being. Doesn't matter where you're at on the spectrum, everyone wants financial well-being in their life. We work for that. That's why we have our jobs. That's why whatever we're doing is that. And that may mean something different for each person as well. But my goal is to fight for the financial well-being of everyone within this community. And if that means fighting for healthcare that makes sense, that brings money back to constituents rather than to corporate pieces, then that's what that means. But I come from an area of not being backed by anybody that's corporate, not being a career politician. It is someone that has grown up in this area and that just wants the best for this community. And that may be something on the left side of the aisle or right side of the aisle, but we have to have free minds and free thinking in Washington that will start helping people that way, rather than having whatever argument we have and never getting anything truly done. And it comes from a position of wanting everyone to have that financial well-being for themselves. And it's tough out there, and I get it. But we can start making change by really trying to elect free-thinking leaders.
Outstanding. Well, Eric, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
coming. Guys, Eric Yonce, 6th District. Look him up, get involved. We have to start pushing people as candidates that are going to represent us. And ask those hard questions. Ask him how you feel about this or that or whatever. That's our right to do that. So with that, I want to thank you guys for stopping by. Thank you, Eric. I'll have you back.
Yes.
Give you about 4 or 5 months. Who knows
See
what
what happens.
conversations we'll be having in 4 or
It's all
5
gonna
months.
change.
Unbelievable, I know. So guys, you take care of yourself, and remember, like, subscribe, but most importantly, get active, get involved, have a voice, use it. We'll catch you guys later. Bye.